In this video, let us learn Angular form control. Angular provides a form control to track value and status of an individual form control, such as input, select, redo button, checkbox, etc. Using form control, we can get current value of form control and can set a default value and can change form control value at runtime. Form control can also apply validator on form control and we can track validation status. Validator can be added or removed at runtime. So use form control in our application. First we have to import form control and we need to import it from Angular forms. And to work with form control, we have also to import reactive form module, assign it here in our @component decorator, imports and use here reactive form module. Without this, we will not be able to work with reactive forms. This is our Angular 19 and here components are by default standalone. Okay. So the first thing is we have to import reactive form module as we have to work on form control. So we have to import it too. So now let's start it to create an instance of form control. Suppose I am creating an instance as a customer and so I have created it like this, new form control. Now go to the template and here in input text use form control key and use the property binding and assign here the component property that we have created. Here it is customer, so I have created it here. Now this uh, form element, the text box, is controlled by this customer property. The value in customer property, if we assign form control here any default value, will be reflected to the input text, and if we change the value in input text, that value will also be reflected to this property. Here I have printed it out. Let's run it. Our application is already running. If I write here something, we can see that values are also being reflected to that property. Okay. Now, if I want to give a default value, we can give it like right here XYZ. So this will be reflected here by default. Look at here, it is reflected, and if we change something, that value will be reflected to the component property too. Okay. If you want to disable it, we can disable it using like this value and disabled true. Okay, now it is disabled, so we can disable it like this. If you want to assign our validators, use the second parameter for the sync parameter, and for the sync validator use the second parameter, and for async use the third parameter. Okay, we can see here this is value. Okay, first one is the, then first for the value, then second argument for the validator fn, that is sync validator fn, and the third is async validator fn. I am using here async validator, so use the second argument dot required, and if you want to add more, dot max length, suppose it's 10. I have used two validators. Now that the input text will have required validator and max length validator. Let's print its status. status is valid right now because values are there. We have used the required validator. If we remove this, we can see it is invalid. We have used one more validator. Length is greater than 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can see that now the status is invalid. So in this way we can add our validators. We can also add validators at runtime. Go to the engine init. One more thing, if you want to print the value here in our component, use the value property of FormControl. We will see that it will print here. Go to the inspect console and we can see output here. To get the current value, we can call it again, or we can use here a button to show the value. Then it will show here. Like if you use show, show the current value, and what we will do is that use here change. We can use the change event binding. Now every time we change the value, this method will be called, and then we will see the current value. Okay, change means once you write, then change the uh, click somewhere else, then the change event will be called. Look at here. If I'm writing as some name, then now I'm clicking somewhere else, the change method is called, and then we can see the values. Now let's see how to remove and add validators at runtime. Come to the engine init. What we can do is that, suppose I want to add a validation max length. It is already there. Suppose min length 3. Then what we have to do is that first create an instance of min length and then call its add validator. FormControl has a method as add validator and then pass it. Okay, and then we have to call the update value and validity. Okay, in this way this validation will be applied at runtime. Let's see what we have done here, that we have applied the validation min length with 3 characters. Three characters. Look at here. There are 2 characters, then it is invalid. 2 characters invalid, 3 characters is okay, and 10 character is max. At that time it will be invalid. Okay, if you want to remove it at runtime, we can write code like this. What we have to do is that remove validators, fn min length, this is our variable, call the remove validators, then again call update value and validity, this will be removed. Now what we see that this is our min validation will be removed. Look at it, xy only two characters, still it is valid, means that validation has been removed. Here we have added and in this line we have removed it. Now let's see how to group the form controls. To group the form controls we need to use the form group. Here I have already created form group. Use the form group, we have to import it from Angular Forms, and here I have created three form controls, one for ID form control, one for name form control, one for location, and this will act as a form. So this is a company form which has three form controls, ID, name and location. All the three have been created using form control like this. ID has a validation required and these two form control has no validation. So in this way we have grouped our form controls. Now I will use this company form in our HTML template. In this way what we have to do, use the keyword form group and assign here this, create a method. Suppose I have created a method on form submit, then use ng submit and assign it with, and bind your form controls within the form group using form control name. You have to keep it in mind, we have to use the form group to bind uh, the bind with the name of the instance of form group, and the form group is using three form controls. All the three will be bound with form control name, and then we submit. The value will be printed here. Look at here, form group dot value. Let's see, if I write here, we can see that we get all the three values form controls. In this way we can group our form controls using form group and use it in HTML template as a form. Okay, this is our video to use the form control. Okay, thank you.